The fourth page of design is customizing your style. This gives you control over all the things that make up your site styles. There's various options for the entire layout as well as colors and fonts. You see one of the first options here is simply that you have a top navigation where your navigation bar will be across the top, or a side navigation bar which will be fixed. The next one is navigation links, which there's three kind of styles that give a range. Each of them can be heavily customized though, so they're not really that limiting. It's just more of a starting place. The minimal is obviously the simplest one, which gives you basic text links, which you can change the color and fonts of. Rounded bricks are a bit more complicated. I do have an outside border, as well as the background and the hover colors and the fonts can all be adjusted. And then the square blocks, which are an interesting one, that have a few more color options. Here you can select your color palette, and this randomly generates a nice matching set of colors that'll go for there. And if you hit this, each time it generates a unique one. Any of these generated will be totally unique. There's no way anyone else could have the exact combination. And you can play around with the various color palettes until you find one that looks good to you, and then dial in exactly which settings you want. You can also copy and paste the color hex codes in here that are here if you like to mix and match or play around with it. For now though, we'll just go back to the minimal. For the color palette, we have some presets here that you can choose from that are just nice and take care of everything for you. But usually, once you find one you want, you might want to click here and get into the custom colors so that you can actually have granular control over all the various colors here on the page. So just simply click the one. If you hover, you'll see there's a description of each of these. And then once you click one, and you can dial in the color here with the color wheel to be whatever you like very easily. Next is the background images, which if you click the button, you can go to the background gallery and preview hundreds of various background images. So just click the one you have for the page body, and then for the navigation bar are the two main background images. So once you find one you like, simply click Save, and that'll take you back to the Customizing Style page. The next section is fonts. Again, there's some presets that are safe and nice and readable if you want to just quickly jump in. But then if you like, you can have granular control over every type of font for your site. The text logo, if you're using a text logo, and then all the others like navigation bar, the headlines for the page title, subheadings, the body text, and also the photo captions. And here's some other style options at the bottom, or if you're using a text logo, you can have a shadow for that logo and kind of make it a little nicer. Frame photos basically just puts a colored border around all the images on your site, and you can choose the color above in the color section. Underline headlines, it simply puts a thin line underneath the headline. It's just a little detail that can look nice. And also with the headlines, you can position them left aligned or center aligned by default. There's also breadcrumb links, which are a navigation helper, which you see the examples here. You can either have minimal or the styled, which you can choose the color of. And that just shows the hierarchy of where you are on the site for users. It's just an accessibility thing that makes it a little easier to see so they don't get lost and they can quickly jump around to various points in your site. There's also show next previous links. Those are just, again, little helpers at the bottom that'll give a next and previous link at the bottom of every page so they can scroll through your site kind of a magazine style. And the navigation bar border just puts a thin border between the navigation bar and your body of content, just a little design feature there. And then the general preferences, which you can have sample images enabled and sample text. Those are turned on when you create a new page. In the default template, it'll just have some content there. It's placeholders to get you started, but you can turn those off if you want. And if you're going to be selling items, you can choose your currency. If it's not US dollar, you can change that to one of the other available currencies. And then the last option is social media buttons. You can have Facebook and Twitter buttons at the top or bottom of every page, and those just show up on the public page. They're not going to be in the admin interface, but when you publish your pages, that allows users to share these easily on the most popular social media networks. Once you're done, you have the Save and Update Site button here, which basically when you click this button, it's going to go through and update every page in your site. So whenever you make changes, just hit this, and then it should refresh the site, and you can check them out and come back anytime to change any of these settings very quickly and easily.